There are moments in a man's life that do not look loud, yet they carry the weight of an entire destiny. One encounter, one conversation, one relationship can shift your life forever. But here's the mystery. The people God sends to change your story rarely come in ways you expect. They don't always look majestic, they don't always sound profound, and they don't always appear in the spotlight. And yet hidden within them is the key you've been praying, fasting, and crying for. Many of us have pushed away our next level unknowingly, not because God didn't answer, but because we didn't recognize the answer when it came. We prayed for doors to open, but when the man with the key knocked, we were too distracted, too offended, too familiar to open. This is not just a teaching, it's a prophetic warning. Be careful who you walk away from, because not every helper wears a title. Tonight we open our eyes, we open our hearts, and we open our spirits. Because what you fail to recognize, you will never receive. And in this journey of purpose, the greatest tragedy is not missing opportunities. It is pushing away the very person sent to announce your rising. Destiny helpers are sent, not hired. This understanding is the foundation of discerning divine relationships in your life. There are people that God positions on your path not because you begged, networked, or lobbied for them, but because His wisdom demands that no destiny is fulfilled in isolation. The economy of the Spirit does not reward self-sufficiency. It rewards alignment. And alignment requires that you recognize that certain men and women have been sent into your life by God Himself, carrying within them the keys to unlock dimensions you cannot access by yourself. When God answers prayers, He rarely throws down blessings from the sky. He sends men. Every promotion, every lifting, every breakthrough, if you trace it carefully, has the fingerprint of a human vessel behind it. The challenge is that many believers have been trained to expect the spectacular, so they miss the supernatural. They want helpers to come wearing crowns with glowing lights, with a voice like thunder. But God sends help in the form of people, ordinary, sometimes unimpressive people who carry the grace to move you forward. You don't hire destiny helpers, they are assigned to you. This is why no amount of manipulation, flattery, or even giving can buy their loyalty. Destiny helpers are not your employees, they are your midwives. They are compelled by a divine mandate, not by personal gain. When a man is sent by God to you, it is not because of how gifted or charming you are, it is because your purpose and his assignment are connected in the Spirit. This is why spiritual sensitivity becomes a non-negotiable requirement. You don't find destiny helpers by observation alone, you perceive them, something in your spirit responds to them. It may be a word they speak, an atmosphere they carry, a burden they ignite in you. Then here lies the danger. Many people abort divine relationships because they try to relate with destiny helpers like hirelings. They try to control what was meant to be received with honor. They use carnal criteria to evaluate spiritual alignment. A destiny helper may not need your qualifications. They may not need your applause, but what they will demand is your honor. The moment you treat them as common, you cancel the grace they carry, because in the kingdom, the anointing flows not just by faith but by honor. You can fast for 40 days, but if you dishonor the vessel God sent, you block the flow. Many have cried to God for lifting but rejected the men He sent. Many have labored in prayer but ignored the knock on the door because it didn't look like the answer they imagined. Helpers are sent, and your prayer should not just be for help but for recognition. Because when God sends a man to you and you push him away, heaven closes the chapter until you learn humility, until you learn discernment, until you learn to recognize that divine connections are not manufactured, they are orchestrated. Destiny helpers rarely come in forms that your natural mind will accept. They may not carry the appearance of kings, nor the eloquence of scholars. Oftentimes they come wrapped in weakness, simplicity, or obscurity. The reason is because the wisdom of God hides greatness in vessels that offend the pride of men. The treasure is always in earthen vessels. If you are waiting for the helper to look like your imagination, you will miss them. If you are waiting for them to sound like your favorite preacher, dress like your role model, or walk like your idol, you will reject the very ladder God has placed to lift you. The flesh has a way of creating expectations that the spirit never authored. You expect a rich man to help you, but God sends the poor widow. You expect a scholar to teach you, but God raises a man from the wilderness with no credentials. Why? Because God is not trying to impress you, He's testing your discernment. The person who holds the key to your next level may be younger than you, less experienced than you, or less attractive than you. But hidden within them is a grace that your destiny cannot afford to ignore. Many of you are praying for a door to open, and the person sitting next to you is the key. But your eyes are too distracted by what they are not, so you cannot see what they carry. This is how men continue to walk in cycles, rejecting answers because they came looking like questions. You must train your spirit to see beyond appearance. Not everyone in rags is poor, and not everyone in robes is a king. There are men who have nothing in their hands but carry nations in their belly. If you are waiting for chariots, you will miss the donkey that has been sent to carry your prophet. Do you not see that many missed their visitation because they were offended by the vessel? The Pharisees could not accept the Christ because he did not come from Rome. They were looking for a political warrior, not a carpenter. They rejected their Messiah because he didn't wear what they expected, speak like they expected, or walk like they expected, and this is still happening today. Many have driven away mentors, helpers, intercessors, and lifters because they judged with the eyes of the flesh. You must be delivered from the idol of your expectation. You must be free from the prison of familiarity. Sometimes your destiny helper is your sibling, your classmate, your subordinate, or someone you once despised. God will humble you by making your lifting come through a vessel you once overlooked. That is how He teaches you honor. That is how He trains your eyes, because the lifting of men is not just by power or might, it is by recognizing the oil hidden in what looks ordinary. And if you are not careful, you will keep pushing away your answer thinking it's a distraction. Every man is limited, no matter how anointed, gifted, or intelligent you are. There will always be areas where you do not carry sufficient grace or capacity. This is not weakness, it is God's design to keep you humble and interdependent. In the economy of destiny, no one is given everything. The body is structured such that each part needs another. Likewise, in your journey to destiny, there are men who carry what you lack: resources, access, knowledge, or favor. They may not be as spiritual as you, but they hold a key. They may not pray as long as you, but they sit in places where your voice is yet to be heard. This is why destiny helpers are essential. They are not fans or followers, they are carriers of portions. When God sends a man into your life, He is answering a lack. He is filling a void. The person may not even understand the full weight of their assignment to you, but the realm of the Spirit has mandated that your paths cross, because something in them completes something in you. You may be the vision, but they are the voice. You may have the oil, but they have the vessel. You may carry the fire, but they have the altar. Destiny helpers are not always more powerful than you, but they have what you do not have. God will never give everything to one man. He will always distribute influence, wisdom, wealth, and access, so that no man boasts before Him. You may carry revelation, but another man carries recommendation. You may be the answer to a generation, but someone must announce you before kings. If you do not recognize this, pride will keep you grounded. You will fast and pray, but remain unknown. You will speak deep things, but doors will remain shut, not because you are not ready, but because the one who must open the gate has not been honored. Sometimes the person you are ignoring is the one whose signature must appear before your next season begins. You have the content, but they have the platform. You have the dream, but they have the influence. You have the idea, but they have the capital. And in the wisdom of God, He hides this connection so that only the humble and the discerning will find. This is why you must never trivialize relationships. Every man you meet carries a portion, some small, some great, but none is empty. Even your critics and your enemies play a role in the unfolding of your destiny. So when God begins to bring people into your life, discern what they can. Do not be casual with access. Do not dishonor favor. Do not overlook presence. A conversation may open doors that 10 years of labor could not. A recommendation may do for you what 10 degrees could not. This is the mystery of divine connections. Men sent to complete what is missing, so your destiny can be full and fruitful. Offense is one of the enemy's most strategic and subtle weapons to disconnect you from those sent to help you. It doesn't come as a mighty storm, it comes quietly through a word spoken that you didn't like, through a correction that pricked your pride, through an action that didn't align with your expectation. And just like that, your heart begins to close, your perception begins to change, and the enemy begins to build walls between you and the vessel that was ordained to lift you. Destiny helpers are not perfect people, they are men and women, flawed, growing, and human. But within them is a treasure that can change your life. The enemy knows he cannot stop God from sending help, so he uses the weakness of men to plant offense. He knows that if he can make you feel dishonored, misunderstood, or unappreciated, you will walk away from the very answer to your prayer. He knows that if he can make the helper feel misused or taken for granted, their heart will close toward you, and the flow of grace will be cut off. The tragedy is that many people are not discerning enough to separate the treasure from the earthen vessel. They magnify the offense and minimize the value. They focus on what was said or done and lose sight of what the person carries. What started as divine alignment quickly becomes a battlefield of egos, pride, and unmet expectation. And the helper once sent by heaven is now blocked by a heart that has become offended. You must understand that relationships ordained by God will be tested. The strength of that connection will not be proven in laughter but in tension. Will you still honor when you feel wrong? Will you still discern when your emotions are hurt? Can you still see the grace when the personality offends you? These are the moments that define destiny. Many have aborted divine seasons because they lacked the emotional maturity to process conflict. One misunderstanding, one disagreement, one moment of offense, and they pushed away a voice that heaven had aligned to open their next door. Offense doesn't always scream, sometimes it sits silently in your heart, causing dishonor to grow subtly. You begin to avoid the help, you stop listening to their counsel, you find reasons to withdraw, and in doing so you disconnect from the oil they carry. The enemy rejoices not because the helper was wrong, but because the relationship is now broken and you're lifting. This is why you must protect divine connections with wisdom, patience, and understanding. Don't be quick to speak when offended. Don't be hasty to walk away. Learn to ask, what is at stake if I let this relationship die? Could it be that the enemy is using this moment to rob me of something bigger than my pride? Because in the realm of destiny, offense is not just an emotional response, it is a demonic strategy to rob you of impartation, access, and grace. Recognizing your destiny helper is not a product of intellect, emotion, or experience. It is the result of discernment. Human logic will fail you, emotions will deceive you, experience will mislead you. There are people who will look qualified, sound anointed, and walk in stature, yet have nothing to do with your rising. And there are others who appear small, silent, and ordinary, yet one moment, with them can shift your destiny forever. This is why it is dangerous to live your life by sight. The realm of the spirit is voice activated, not sight governed. It is not what your eyes see that determines your help. It is what your spirit discerns. Discernment is the ability to see beyond what is presented. It is the ability to identify purpose in disguise. It is the sensitivity to pick up signals in the spirit, even when the natural environment shows nothing remarkable. Without discernment, you will call the answer a distraction. Without discernment, you will walk past gates calling them walls. You will reject kings because they do not wear crowns, and ignore prophets because they come with no title. Many are crying for divine intervention, yet lack the eyes to recognize when God shows up through a man. You cannot always trust your emotions. Some people who irritate your flesh are assigned to feed your spirit. Your feelings are not trained to recognize destiny. Your eyes are not designed to pick spiritual frequency. Only your spirit, aligned with the Holy Spirit, can decode the weight a person carries for your journey. It takes discernment to see the future in a seeming irrelevant encounter. It takes discernment to know that a man who came to borrow salt may be your doorway to favor, and those who live by discernment never trivialize interaction. They treat every moment, every person, every conversation with honor because they understand that help can come in any form. Many have walked away from encounters that were meant to change their lives simply because they lacked discernment. They prayed for open doors but failed to perceive the key when it stood before them. They rejected divine relationships because they were searching for perfection rather than alignment. They wanted charisma but ignored character. They sought eloquence but missed the weight of spiritual relevance. You cannot know destiny helpers by talent or beauty. You know them by spiritual relevance. Who they are to others may not be who they are to you. It is not about public opinion. It is about prophetic connection. To recognize a helper, your discernment must be alive. You must train your spirit to respond to presence. You must grow in prayer until your eyes see beyond the visible. Because in this journey, it is not speed that gives you results, it is accuracy. And accuracy comes when you can see not with your eyes but with your spirit. That is how men rise swiftly, not because they know many, but because they can recognize the few that carry what matters. In this life and destiny journey, discernment is not just an advantage, it is survival. You will not always recognize your lifting by the appearance of the vessel. It will often require the eyes of the Spirit. Destiny helpers are sent, not hired. They are carriers of grace, access, and answers to the prayers you've sown in tears. They may come dressed in the robes of imperfection, wrapped in human frailty, but they carry within them the keys to unlock your next season. The tragedy is not their absence, it is your inability to recognize them. Offense, pride, and emotional immaturity will always seek to drive a wedge between you and those assigned to help you. But may you never reject the latter, because it looks too rough. May you never dishonor the voice, because it doesn't echo your expectations. And above all, may you never push away what was divinely aligned for your elevation. So as you go forward, may your eyes be opened, may your heart be tender enough to discern, strong enough to endure correction, and wise enough to honor the vessels that heaven sends. You will not miss your moment, you will not abort your help, you will not dishonor your lifters. Your steps are ordered, your path is lit, and your season of recognition has come. Good luck on your journey of purpose and alignment. May grace speak for you where your strength cannot. Thank you for listening, for learning, and for allowing truth to find expression in your heart. May the wind of favor locate you, and may your destiny helpers find you without delay. Stay discerning, stay humble, stay aligned. Your lifting is closer than you think.